All right, guess we're not done. Um, so I'm looking at Brown University. Um, um, I'm thinking about what I want to talk about first. So they have this urban studies. This is the description of their urban studies at Brown University. Um, and basically, so students are probably asking, how do you create a course? How does a university create a course? It's basically someone else's PhD. Okay. Um, the reason why I don't want men to take this course is because it's someone else's PhD, right? And this is specific to men. This isn't a general to all students. Any other student, I want them to take this course, right? It's someone else's PhD. You should take the course. Not for men. DeRosa, understand? This is student specific. This is not for men. Okay? Molly, Kimberly, Carly, Zoe, Lauren, Huang, Tian, Tao, Tang. Um, they don't take humanities classes, so I want them to take this course, right? So Zoe's really good at physics. She's not good at humanities, so I want her to take this course. Same with men. You don't want Zoe in a physics classroom. She already has a PhD. You want Zoe to create her own program. And that's what she did. That's what Einstein did. He created his own program in independent studies. That's good for someone who mastered physics. You don't want them in someone else's PhD. You don't want that. Lauren the same way, Huang the same way. You want them in an independent studies. So for men, he's really good at humanities. I don't want him taking someone else's PhD course, right? So I would advise him to stay away from other people's PhD. I want you in an independent studies and create your own. So this is saying students learn where cities come from, how they grow, thrive, and decline, how they are organized, how to construct meaningful, inclusive, secure, and sustainable places. The curriculum explains how urban problems arise, how they have been previously addressed, and how to plan cities of the future. Men already knows this, right? So I'd rather him study Egypt. How did North Egypt arise and South Egypt arise? How did North Vietnam become North Vietnam, South Vietnam become South Vietnam? How did North Korea become North Korea and South Korea become South Korea? I'd rather him explore on his own than take someone else's PhD. But Min is bad at physics. So if there's a physics course, he has to take it. You know what I'm saying? For DeRosa and Dan Casser to how to manage specific students and their skills. And then how to manage men. Right? He's not this all genius where it's not like that. It's where he's good at. All right? He's really good at humanities. He's really bad at grammar, mathematics, and physics. He's really bad at it. All right? So you want him in a physics class, in a math class, in an English class. You want him there. You don't want him in these humanities courses. He's too good at it, right? He's better off in an independent studies, right? So that's that. And I was looking at the courses or the majors that Brown offers, And Min's problem, so Min has this habit where he'll just blindly pick, right? Because he's already gone through what his likes and dislikes are. So he'll be like, visual arts. And he won't even bother looking at all the other courses. He's like, no, that's what I like, and that's what I do. Yes, you may know who you are, but you still want to look at what they offer. Right? Don't get into the habit where like I know myself. Right? Huang does this all the time where he's like, I know myself, I know myself, I know I don't like that. Okay, it's okay to know yourself, but look at what the university is offering as well. Don't get into a habit where you're like, well, I know myself. Don't do that, right? It's okay to have a strong opinion, be like, yeah, visual art is pretty where I'm leaning, but take the tour and go through the course catalog and just browse through it, right? It's okay to have a final answer already, but at least browse through it and see what they offer, right? Get out of that habit where you're like, no, I won't look at anything else. All right, don't do that. All right. So Min is a Brown student, right? So Min, his college application is accepted in every Ivy League. All right, that's what DeRosa's saying. Like, oh, he's accepted at every Ivy League, at Harvard, Princeton, Yale, UPenn, Brown, Cornell, and so here's urban studies and Min landed on visual arts. So you want to look at all of it, even if you already have a preferred one. You want to look at all of it, Min. Because you have a bad habit of just blindly going visual arts. I'm done. It's a bad habit. So Min got accepted into every Ivy League. That's what DeRosa is saying. Like he's accepted to every Ivy League. With that application, he's accepted to every Ivy League. So DeRosa is asking, what would he choose? Right? So looking at the university he created, Craft Worlds University, I was sticking with the C and the W. So Cornell, C for Cornell. So I was looking at Cornell and Brown has W. I was looking at Cornell and Brown. And Min kind of follows. He likes following people. So he likes to follow Huang, and as far as Huang can go, until Huang tapers off where he's failing. And then he'll follow Alex, right? He followed Alex into Pacific because Alex was doing well. And then he'll follow the next top student, and then the next top student, and then the next. That's what he does. So Min likes to learn from other top students. So Emma Watson went to Brown. So Min, that's how he would consider it. He's like, who went to Cornell? No one I know. Emma Watson went to Brown, and in the English area and the Greek and Roman area, they're all part of Atlantis Lumeria. Like they share that information. So all the Emma Watsons, the Harry Potter author, J.K. Rowling, they know about Atlantis. Right? All the English, like I said, all the English, Roman. Don't worry, Atlantis and Lumeria will be in the history books as well. We're gonna study them as well and what they did. So don't worry about good and bad right now. We're gonna study it all. So all the English people, like they know about Atlantis and Lumeria. So Min is following Emma Watson, who is a part of Atlantis and Lumeria. So he's following a top student. All right. So that's how Min thinks. That's how Min evaluates. Like, well, is Huang doing it? Right. And then he'll compare Huang to Alex. Right. It's like, well, Alex is doing better than you, so I'm going this way. Right. So at home, he's like, I'll follow Huang because he's the older brother. But then Huang isn't doing well in school, and he's like, well, what's the next person I follow? And then it happens to be his friend Alex who's doing well. He's like, I'm going to Pacific. And then Min's like, okay, I'll follow you there too. So on selecting on Cornell and Brown, Min would be like, well, who's the top student? It's like Natalie Portman went to Harvard. Min would follow that. He would be like, okay, Natalie Portman went there. I would go there. Um, so, but Harvard's out of the Min equation. It's Cornell and Brown. So Min would follow Emma Watson to Brown, and that's how he would choose. So Min is a Brown student, and for me, I'm an MIT student. MIT has a business program, and that's where I would go. So Min is for he's accepted into Brown. Or you can consider Min a Brown student, and then you would consider me as an MIT student. But we're both going to Pacific, right? And yeah, Min studies visual arts, and I study business. So yeah, that's explaining how to evaluate student skills. It's not genius. You see how Zoe struggles with humanities. Zoe and Lauren, they're like, we don't get it. We don't get humanities at all. And it took them a while for Min to explain, like, no, it's like this. This is how you study humanities. And vice versa. Min and Kimberly are strong in humanities. We're weak in math and physics. So when the physics professor in psychology, when they explain why their field works, Min and Kimberly are like, that's not our strong point yet, right? Like, of course, you can take it and still be strong in it, but as of right now, we're just not strong in it. So, Zoe can go on about time, and we'll be like, we don't know. Like we don't study physics, and the physics professor can throw math problems, and Min would be like, that's not my. I'm just not strong there. So that's how you evaluate Min's skills and his lacking of skills. And so you see that Min's strong in humanities. You want him to take an independent studies and not take someone else's PhD. But Min is weak in physics. You want him just in any ordinary physics class, just put him in there. Because he's bad anyways. So you can put him in a high school physics class. It doesn't matter. He's really bad at it. So you see Min stuck on algebra. His ceiling is just not that high. So same with me. I'm bad at grammar. I've just been learning about worst and worst. So how you know the difference? Worst is the worst. That's when you use worst. The worst. No comparison. And worst with the E is comparing. Like, he was good, but I was worse. Right? So there's like that but. When you use like a but, you use worse. So, or getting. When you see the word getting worse, it's because it started at something and you're comparing it to that. So you're getting worse, not getting worst with a T. So you started at a point and you're comparing it to that point. So when you see like a but or getting, or actually like, but he is worse. No, yeah. If you see like a but or getting, then you use worse with an E. Worse. But if you say he is the worst with no comparison, then you use the T. So that's what I was learning this morning. So yeah, I'm bad at English. I'm bad at physics. I'm bad at... Remember, I just follow Min. Just like Min follows Emma Huang, Alex, and then Emma Watson. You want to get used to... I'm teaching Molly. Molly's all doing all this weird stuff. And I'm like, no, Molly, you need to follow people, right? Follow Yale students, follow Princeton students, follow people and see how they're doing it. You don't want to get in your own head and think you're a genius. You don't want to do that. And be like, oh, this person does something interesting. I want to follow you and learn how you did that. So Min follows Huang, Min follows Alex, Min follows Emma Watson. So I do the same. I follow Min, and Min studies humanities. Therefore, I study humanities. And so we want to eventually follow Zoe and Lauren and Huang and study physics. Eventually get there. But we're not there yet. We're just following our interests. Right now, my interest is Min. And what Min studies, I study. Right? I haven't worked on like strength and weakness yet. So I follow Min, and he's studying humanities, and I happen to be really good. I happen to be really good at it. Molly, Kimberly, and Carly, they follow Min, but they're not good at humanities. You see how it's just not their interest. They're more computer science, right? So it just happened to work out that way. All right. So I follow Min, and it just so happened I enjoy humanities as well, and I excel at it. All right. And I went to MIT for business. Right? I didn't even follow visual art. I went into business. All right. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about this morning.